Hey everyone, this is a continuation of my last video, why you shouldn't punish everything. And last video, I ended it with the idea of probabilities, chances, and certainties, or lack thereof. The way I like to imagine reads, and to a further extension Smash as a whole, is not about really finding absolutes, but likelihoods. And I'm going to say in this video why it should be thought about like this, in terms of likelihoods and not absolutes. This video is not going to be amazingly coherent, I apologize, but I hope that it's good enough of a plate of food that you will find some benefit out of it, however messy that plate can be. So let's think about a scenario to start off with. You try to read something and they do the thing you read, but you still don't get the punish because you went for a dash grab against the Roy Nair to whiff punish, but they spot dodged. The next time you try to punish the exact same scenario, you position yourself to be able to grab the spot dodge, but they jabbed you right in front of your face, and you look like a fool. Why am I getting owned for successfully reading this Nair? So the next solution, okay, we're gonna directly punish this Nair. You challenge the move front on with a strong rising aerial that commands a lot of control of the area in front of you, hoping to intercept the Roy, but they don't air anymore, and they did a drift back forwarder, and you've extended your hitbox, and your aerial was punished. So the pitfall many people go to is thinking that something like getting a reward for reading a specific option is earned, like somehow making the incredibly hard and complex read that the Roy player is going to nair at 0%, and unsurprisingly, guessing right means you deserve your just desserts. Unfortunately, you don't. And why don't you? So, did you read their timing on when they naired, their drift, their spacing, or the option that they did afterwards? And the answer is probably no. And if you read all of those things all at once, then you either have a big brain or you're getting hit for something else right in front of you. That is not a slack on your behalf though, however. It's natural that you wouldn't really guess all these tiny little variables to make that read, because it's very difficult to against a human without sufficient data. So what then? Is it lost? Is it unpunishable? Well, obviously no. But just because you made a superficial read on their option doesn't mean you've got all the info to earn your reward. You may have a good % chance on getting your reward perhaps, but it's not 100%. And even if you got all the right reads on all the micro variables, you may perhaps only get like 90% chance, on hitting that reward. Understanding that this game is incredibly variant in some scenarios is key to accepting the game for what it is and learning to move on and play better Smash. You aren't owed anything, you simply increase your chances of success for different scenarios. There are a lot of scenarios like this in Smash. It often feels very hopeless when nothing can be taken for certain. There's so many variables and slippery interactions to fully account for. How is it possible to really know for anything for certain? How then can there be players who are just so consistent in a game of extreme variance? Like MKLeo is the ultimate example of people who have understood how to get the most consistent and high probability reads and get the best results for that reason. But even just thinking about the difference between you and your other local top player, and it should be the same underlying philosophy of picking better spots. Well, I like to equate it to poker pros or people who are good at card games. They all understand that luck plays an integral part. Their job is simply to increase their chances and capitalize with the odds they get. I think of it the same in Smash. Let's look at a micro interaction specifically. So, let's look at our beloved Roy Nair. So here, how did I get hit? I got hit for Roy Nair because I tried to do a Nair myself, right? It was here. Why would I go for this Nair? You might ask. Well, I really like Nair for one. This move is very good and I get a huge amount of reward for it. But was the strategy good? This strategy, I like to think of it like if someone was passing a ball to me and I try to catch it by clamping my hands on the ball on its sides. If the ball was passed really fast with a lot of momentum, that method of clamping the ball on the side is very high risk. But if I caught it by putting my hand where the ball is going to go and stop it in its tracks, letting the ball come to my hand rather than timing my hands to catch the ball, then the probability is much higher, right? Now you kind of probably know where I'm getting at this. If I chose a better, more highly probable option, let's say like an F-tilt, it's a good and safer, easier way of quote-unquote catching the ball, right? Maybe I can even mix it up with a time dash back or a shield, get a parry on that nair, for example. There are many different ways to beat that option, and you can choose more and more probable options too. So there's no right answer, but you should ask yourself every time you go for a kind of punish or answer to an option, was this a good choice? Maybe I could have gone for something smarter. A final thing on the Roy nair example, right? Let's say even an Ike nair or a Cloud short hop back air. What if I just let them throw out their stupid move and punish them through mobility? If you think about it, from those characters' perspectives, their moves are incredibly safe with good reward, right? There's got a lot of ways to own noobs who are trying to directly punish those moves, or what comes afterwards. But when you, as the Ike or Cloud player, decide to throw out that falling move where you think they're going to be, hoping for you to be in that spot so that they can be ready to play that interaction, the mix-up in their favor, you as the opponent, right, decide to not even play that spot to begin with. At the time in which the Cloud decides to commit to an aerial, you commit to the idea of moving away from where you are and do a dash back, out of any conceivable range of threat, or jump to a better position, or roll. And you get the benefit of doing what you want and not be at the mercy to their mix-ups that beat anyone for trying to punish that scenario of the Cloud back air. So Leo is a master of this. So is Tweak, and so is a lot of other players. There are many different ways to beat something, but figuring out what are consistent and rewarding options to win is what enables consistency, right? The next time you read an approach and miss a punish because they did a spot dodge after the move, understand that you knowingly or unknowingly committed to an RPS that is high risk, high reward. And if you got punished, you should accept it just like how you would accept going into, let's say, a random seeded tournament and losing to the first seed in the first round. Because it's random and you signed up for it. You knew what you were getting into. So the point of this video, however, is not trying to analyze micro in this game. If you want that, I already did a video on data collection that you can watch that is more suited towards that. But this video and the crux of it is more focused on the mental. I'm trying to use these micro examples to highlight the kind of philosophy of Smash you should get into the habit of thinking about. Card game players, Pokemon, poker all accept that sometimes you just get bad RNG. Even MOBAs, like MOBA players who genuinely want to climb ranks, accept that you sometimes get shit teammates, bad comps, or whatever, and they try simply to control the things they can control, and understand the process that despite luck being a factor, good fundamentals in those respective games will naturally create consistency through more and more repetitions and samples. Understanding variance in different scenarios and playing with that consideration in mind, as opposed to shoehorning an ideal into the game that some things are X, Y, and Z, can be completely solved by Q, W, or E is really dumb and needs a reframing on how you think about playing this game. I'm going to continue this tangent actually with one more game, because I just watched the fucking out of Valorant. But in that game, and I'd imagine other shooters as well, like CSGO, right? The principles are the same. Setting yourself up in good positions like a strong angle, like time and tested strong strategies, because they allow for good coverage, set you up to kill someone who comes into a common or a central spot on the map. Like characters like Jet were strong, I don't know now because I don't play the game anymore, because her mobility allowed her to create angles for herself to exploit, or threaten positions that other characters wouldn't even reach. But, and this is the thing that I want to talk about, mobility doesn't immediately get you a kill. Simply pressing the E button doesn't get you a kill. What it does is create opportunities for you to get a kill. Holding the angle doesn't automatically mean you get the kill when they peek out, but it is a good situation for you to be able to get the kill. Nothing is guaranteed, and you aren't owed any reward. Good players will understand that sometimes the idea was good, but they fucked up their aim or they timed util wrong. But they know that these spawns aren't the problem. Put them in that spot for 1,000 times, and the probability of success on those spots will show their true values and why they are good. In a funny way, talking back to the idea of random seeding, the turbulent nature of Smash should honestly be already a big hint in the way in which we run our tournaments. It should be hinted at by the way we run our tournaments. So we do double elimination tournaments with majority of best of 3, and only later on best of 5 to a select number of few players. The format is by nature going to be inconsistent. I see so many smashers will salt tweet or salt post complain about something bad that happens to them in a tournament, like, oh, I'm so mad that this person got upset and I had to play them for 17th or 25th, or my move barely missed and I lost the game because of that, or complain about how they got shit sleep, or that they got bad bracket luck for their character, etc, etc, etc. In my opinion, someone trying to get good at Smash should act in a way that reflects an understanding of how much success depends on luck and things outside your control. You getting a good top 8 run is partially because your bracket demon landed on the other side of the bracket and something happened to where you didn't need to play them. Or your win versus this person could be because at the exact time that the player decided to go for a rare mix-up, you decided in the spur of the moment, it came to you in a dream, not to do something that you always did, and then you suddenly see that your opponent has done something, like a mix-up, and then you just look at them and get a free punish and you win the game. Very likely, the other outcome could have happened where your opponent decided at that point that they won't do something, and then they win the game. You two might be playing Fox and Mario, two characters with zero luck at all, and the outcome is still up to something not completely in your control. And this is kind of what I mean. In a game that involves versing another human in a tournament format that is optimized for pragmatic purposes, with 80 different characters, all in which have strong niches to be respected and some even have actual RNG in them, in the realm of life that by nature is out of your control, you only have so little you can truly affect the outcome for. So much of the game and everything adjacent to it is outside your control, and that if you so decide to be a competitor in this game, you should accept that much of the game is up to chance, and that you can only aim and try your hardest at increasing your chances and probabilities for success. Don't fret, because MKLeia is still the best player in the world, and the same top 6 players in Vic are still going to win 95% of the time. Consistency exists, and that is a sign that this game is still a true competitive fighting game. But never think that just because you did your hard yards means you deserve your just desserts. Understand that you can only control what you can control, and work towards maximizing that effect you have on an outcome, and the fruits of your labor will come. Whenever something that you feel unjustly about happens, try to reframe in your mind and accept that it happened, and what can you do about it for the future. Shit happens, you know. Just never think that you are owed anything. Thanks for watching, everyone. These videos are pretty hard to do, for even how bare bones they are in editing. I'm gonna get better at that. hopefully. But if you enjoy my content or my ramblings, please help me out in some way or some form. Retweet it, like share it with your friends, like it, etc., etc. Give me subscribes because I need some dopamine occasionally. It's nice. But yeah, if there's any topic you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. And yeah, hopefully you take something useful out of this. Yeah, see ya.